Atlantis didn't leave, it fragmented. And when civilization fragments, the cleanest evidence isn't always stories. It's stone. Because stone survives the part that burns. Paper, libraries, names, dynasties. So here's the echo map rule we're using quietly. Don't chase one lost island. Track repeating motifs. If the same motif keeps appearing in different places, you're not looking at random history anymore. You're looking at a pattern that outlived collapse. In the Great White Brotherhood framework, megalithic sites aren't just old buildings. They're leftovers from techniques that later humans couldn't reproduce. And the book actually tries to answer the biggest question, not who built it, but how did anyone cut, shape, and move stone like that at all? In the stones of yesterday, the claim is direct. Mainstream archaeology says copper chisels and stone balls. But the text argues the results in hard stone don't match primitive tools. So it proposes a different method. First, soften the stone. It claims the stone could be softened using microwaves so it became workable like putty. Not with diamonds, not with super saws. By changing the condition of the stone first, then shaping it with simpler tools. Second, move the stone. The text claims the same civilization learned something even stranger, that everything is frequency and that weight can be negated by the right frequency. So blocks could become effectively weightless, moved by gentle force, then locked back into normal weight once placed. That's the claim, soften to shape, frequency to move. And the third motif completes the triangle, signal. The PDF set also frames pyramids and megalithic circles as location beacons, not magic machines inside. Just this idea, every place has a unique vibrational signature, and stones from a quarry carry it. So if you pile massive amounts of stone from one source into a stable geometry, it broadcasts that signature strongly, a homing signal, a location stamp. In that model, geometry isn't just symbolism. It's infrastructure. Now we bring the echo map to real-world sites people argue about. We don't need everyone to agree. We only need to test motifs. Let's start with one named directly in the text, Baalbek. The chapter points to half-quarried giant stones and describes scoop marks, as if excess stone was removed after softening. That's not proof, but it is a specific claim tied to a specific place. And once you have one anchor point, you can compare others. Now think about places like Puma Punku. People fixate on the precision, the repeating shapes, the sense that something industrial happened with stone. Echo map question. Does it resemble a world that could soften stone first, then shape it like material? Then there's Petra, an entire city carved into rock. Whether you see it as slow labor or lost technique, the question stays the same. Why do so many ancient places look like stone was treated as if it were easier to carve than it should be? And then Asia enters the map. Japan has its own controversies, including underwater formations people argue about. China has mound pyramids people argue about. Across the wider region, you find megalith platforms and precision cuts that keep repeating. Again, we don't force belief. We apply motifs, softening, lifting, signaling. Here's where the beacon idea becomes useful, even if you treat it as metaphor. Beacon logic explains something human too. Why build monuments that last earthquakes? Why build with massive stones at all? Because you want the structure to survive the reset. Whether you call it a signal or a marker, it's meant to stay. Now watch how the PDFs connect the deeper principle. They repeatedly frame reality itself as vibration. They describe everything as having a unique frequency, objects, atoms, places. And they claim advanced travel can work by matching frequency, like tuning to a destination. You don't drive there. You resonate there. That's the world model behind beacon architecture. And it's also why stones matter in this canon. Because stones become storage not as books, but as stable frequency objects. So you can imagine a different kind of ancient infrastructure. A network of durable sites built to survive cataclysm, built to be found later, built to anchor a location, physically and energetically. That's why the echo map doesn't ask you to worship monuments. It asks you to compare them. Where do we see the same kinds of cuts, the same obsession with massive blocks, the same stable forms repeated across continents? And what kind of knowledge would create that repetition? If the PDFs are even partly correct, the answer isn't that one culture did everything. It's that a method survived the break. Not a library. A method. Softening. Moving. Marking. And then later civilizations inherited fragments and reinterpreted them as religion, royalty, or tombs. Because meaning breaks first. Stone survives longer than meaning. So here's the grounded stance for this episode. We're not declaring final truth. We're mapping recurring motifs using the text as a lens. If you feel fear, certainty, or blind devotion, drop the idea. But if you feel curiosity sharpen, follow the pattern. Because when the same stone anomalies repeat worldwide, you don't have a weird sight anymore. You have an echo map.